On July 13, 2024, Osakan rock band Haku uploaded a video covering Mono no Aware's Kamukamo Shikamo Nidomokamo to promote a joint concert. At some point in 2025, Haku's cover goes viral. I wanted to talk about this song. About what exactly? This video might live up to the title info dumping because I'm honestly trying to figure it out myself. While I want to talk about Kamukamo Shikamo Nidomokamo and what makes both versions good, I wouldn't call it a review. However, I'm not going to go so deep into the music to call it a breakdown either. The more I think about it, the more I gravitate towards the vibes. And when I start focusing on that, something stands out to me. Mono no Aware's version and Haku's version are extremely similar, but they hit different. So let's start with some context. As mentioned earlier, Haku covered a song called Kamukamo Shikamo Nidomokamo, translated as Maybe It's a Bite or Maybe It's a No, which was originally by Japanese rock band Mono no Aware, meaning the pathos of things, released in 2019. It's a song whose lyrics are made out of Japanese tongue twisters over a groovy beat. I actually tried to do some research for this video because I wanted to do a proper deep dive into Kamukamo Shikamo Nidomokamo, which from now on I'll be referring to as Kamukamo for brevity, the meaning behind it and its lyrics, and why Mono no Aware wrote it, but the little sources I could find were in Japanese, which I cannot read or speak, so that's a bust. However, from what I could gather, there really seems to not be any deeper meaning regarding Kamukamo Shikamo Nidomokamo. Mono no Aware one day decided to write a song revolving around tongue twisters, and that was that. I should mention that I did come across a blog post by Kaiyukoku Plus where the author talked about Kamukamo, and in it they mentioned a variety show called Hachiji Dayo Senin Shugo, where the comedy group The Drifters performed their song Dorifu no Suyu Kotoba, translated as Drifters Tongue Twisters. Again, not a lot of information I could read on this either, except that the song was released in 1980 and the Drifters are riffing on Wilson Pickett's Don't Knock My Love. Don't hold you up. Won't shake your stuff. Don't be afraid. What does this have to do with Kamukamo? Well, nothing really. It was just an interesting side tangent I thought it would be fun to mention, but if it does say anything about Kamukamo is that the idea of building a song around popular tongue twisters is not new and that Mono no Aware did it for the fun of it. Again, not everything has to be deep, plus inferring an artist's intentions does say a lot about any piece of work, even if the reason is just cuz. With that out of the way, let's talk covers. This may sound like another tangent, but this one's relevant, trust me. What makes a good cover? It varies from person to person and on a case-to-case basis, as like most things in music, what's good is subjective to individual tastes. Plus, the things someone might say makes one cover great are the same things that same person could say make another cover bad. Personally, I think the key to any good cover comes from two things. 1. Understanding what makes the original song great and why it was written and performed the way that it is. 2. The cover version stands out on its own, highlighting the band or artist's sound and style while still not losing what makes the original so special. This means you have to deconstruct, to some degree, any song that you're covering to fully understand what makes it tick, which will in turn help you make the song yours. This doesn't mean you have to play the song exactly as the original, but understanding how it works is what gives you the leeway to transform it into something different. So what does Haku do with Kamukamo? Well, nothing really. If you listen to both versions back to back, you'll notice that they're virtually the same song. Obviously, they're not exactly the same. Haku and Mono no Aware have different production styles, instrument preferences, not to mention the elephant in the room of the singers being different genders. What I mean is that Haku plays Kamukamo straight. Despite this, they sound vastly different. Aside from Shukei's and Ai's voice, the bass in Mono no Aware's version sounds crunchier. Not just the bass, the guitar tones on both songs are subtly different. Again, Haku's being cleaner and sweeter compared to Mono no Aware. Not to mention the mixing of both songs is very distinct. You can hear every element clearly in Mono no Aware's version. At first, I thought one of the main differences was that Haku's version was stripped down to one guitar, whereas Mono no Aware has two. But that's not true. The second guitar is just mixed in a way that's there, but you wouldn't notice it. Mono no Aware's version, to me, sounds like an early new wave song, something you'd hear on 1981 MTV. A little strange, surreal, experimental, but a captivating adventure through a twisted or hyperbolic mundane life. Haku's version is just spellbinding. Mono no Aware wanted you to hear each piece of the puzzle and see how these gears work with and against each other in the machine. Being able to focus and unfocus on how all of these pieces make the machine run is part of what makes it so mesmerizing. Haku's version is less concerned with the details and more on the vibes. It's still tight as clockwork, but through the mixing, the voicings, the gears are more subtle and almost subconscious, hypnotizing. I've mentioned vibes a couple of times before, and maybe that's what this whole ramble is actually about. As frustratingly vague as the vibes are as a concept, people are surprisingly good and adept at feeling them. Through this perspective, I think it starts becoming clear why Haku's cover of Kamukamo is the way it is, similarities and differences, and why it works so well. Both versions are basically the same with minute differences that are barely noticeable but make quite the difference. Mono no Aware constructed a soundscape taking us on an absurd and surreal journey through suburban wonderland. Haku, by contrast, leaned into this absurd surrealism, diving into it and let whatever happens take the wheel. Mono no Aware is giving us a window to peer into this world, while Haku is inviting us to turn off our brains and enjoy the ride. So, what's the takeaway of this info dumping? Maybe the whole point is that there was no point. This entire time I've been trying to analyze something that feels like it actively refuses to be analyzed. Every little thread I tried to pull led me to a fun fact, but ultimately to nothing more. I did have fun reading too deep into both versions of Kamukamo, and I wanted to share a very fun song along with the reasons why I thought it was so fun. All the animations, covers, and memes of Kamukamo are too people having fun and wanting to share that fun with us. Thank you very much for watching. What are your thoughts on Kamukamo Shikamo Nidomokamo? If you liked this video, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this dribble and hope to see you in the next one. Later!